I've put out plenty of videos detailing the hideous and aberrant monstrosities of the Bestiary, the things that ought not be and yet somehow are. But there's a time and place for the pretty monsters as well, because you can be lovely on the outside and ugly on the inside. So today, I'll be looking at a type of monster that's really just a mermaid for the desert, if you think about it. That's right, the pulp-tastic snake women, and sometimes men, called Lamia. Not to be confused with classic snake men who have human-like bodies and snake heads. Or the Naga, which have snake bodies and human heads. Or Leland, which are really just the opposite of Lamia in every way. Or the Yuan-Ti, who are in a completely different system. There are a lot of snake people, okay? But before we get into Lamia and how to use them, if you'd like to take your game further, join the D6 Damage Discord. We have fantastic discussions about all aspects of the game. Character builds, strategy guides, world building, and much, much more. You'll find a link in the description of this video. So now then, the first thing to understand about Lamia is that despite my reptilian overtures, they actually come in flavors other than reptile. The most significant being cat, but they don't matter. Cat Lamia are just backup dancers to the snake versions. There are several reasons for this. 1. The snakes are just iconic. The human head and upper body with the snake lower body are what most players will think of when you say Lamia. If you throw the cat centaurs at them, they just won't know what they're looking at. 2nd, law of diminishing returns. A single Lamia is a memorable encounter and a great capstone to a quest. But if you use too many of them too often, they're just another enemy type. 3. Pairing Lamia, who have a lot of save or suck abilities, such as Charm Monster and Deep Slumber, with enemies that are more straightforward, makes for more balanced encounters. It's a monster you shouldn't overuse, so use the best version of it. Now what that means is that we only care about the Lamia Matriarch. The Lamia Matriarch is a large, monstrous humanoid. They are immune to mind effects. They have spell resistance 19. A Lamia Matriarch has both a climb and a swim speed of 40 feet. This means they don't have to make climb or swim checks. They can go up and down surfaces not normally scalable, and they're at home in the water. The Lamia Matriarch also has a nasty special attack, which does Wisdom Drain. On a melee touch attack, the Lamia deals 1d4 points of Wisdom Drain. You may ask, how is Drain different than damage? Drain reduces the total score. This is permanent unless removed through magic. Also, the first time per round an opponent is hit with a melee weapon wielded by the Lamia, it incurs 1 point of Wisdom Drain. A DC 21 will save negates the ability drain. This aspect of the Lamia Matriarch makes them very dangerous. They can easily push low wisdom characters into a state of being completely comatose. A PC with 0 wisdom is unconscious. Unconscious creatures are helpless. Helpless creatures are vulnerable to coup de grace. In a coup de grace, a full round action is taken, where an attack is made against the unconscious creature. This attack requires a save. The save is 10 plus the damage dealt. Failing this save results in instant death. The Lamia Matriarch is quite dangerous in melee combat. The base version is armed with 2 scimitars, with a total of 5 attacks, that have a 15 to 20 crit range. This is because it has the improved critical feat. Lamia also possess spells and spell-like abilities. A Lamia casts spells as a sorcerer, but can cast spells from the cleric spell list. You can customize your spell list as you feel is necessary. Now, let's talk about those spell-like abilities. At will, a Lamia Matriarch can use Charm Monster and Ventriloquism. This is one of the reasons why they function best in a leadership role. Their ability to charm things, and by things I mean almost everything. Charm Monster affects creatures of any size and type. This can be used on PCs, or it can be used by the Lamia to amass large gangs of devoted followers. 3 times per day, the Lamia Matriarch can use Deep Slumber, Dream, Major Image, Mirror Image, which is an incredibly powerful combat buff, and Suggestion. The base version has a set of spells known as well. At 3rd level, it can use Haste 4 times per day. 2nd level, Death Knell or Invisibility. These are usable 6 times per day. 1st level spells, Cure Light Wounds, Divine Favor, Mage Armor, and Magic Missile. Another very powerful infiltration and manipulation ability that Lamia Matriarch possess is Shape Change. The Lamia can assume the form of a specific human and remain in that form indefinitely. It'll be quite a twist when the king's new wife or that handsome country nobleman turn out to be a serpentine monstrosity. Next, Lamia wield undersized weapons. This means that they use weapons sized for medium category creatures, even though they are large category. Finally, let's talk about their skills. Lamia have a plus 15 bonus to Knowledge Arcane, a plus 15 bonus to a skill of your choice, and this one is very important, a plus 21 on Use Magic Device checks. So, with the idea that your Lamia Matriarch is going to be serving as a boss or major force behind a faction or dungeon that your players are going to be tackling, let's talk about some of the other enemies that could be encountered alongside them. I find that Lamia mesh really well with the category of creatures that I call beastmen. These are creatures like gnolls, which make great foot soldiers and guards, minotaurs, which could serve as elites or sub-bosses, and harpies, who could be scouts or fast attack units. Another great choice of themed henchmen are reptilians. These are things like lizard folk, which fill the foot soldier role. Giant snakes, such as the whopping CR10 giant anaconda, which is a gargantuan snake. Lizard-like things, such as giant geckos or giant chameleons, and if you want some Lost Worlds flavor, just go with dinosaurs. Finally, you've got plenty of room to work with good old-fashioned humanoids. These could be criminals or bandits, assassins and thieves operating in an urban environment, or cultists, possibly even with summoned demonic allies in all kinds of places. Now that you've thought about the kind of ally your Lamia Matriarch may have amassed, let's talk about some of the locations players might encounter them. A great low fantasy sword and sorcery location are desert ruins. This is a good place for beastmen, bandits, or cultists to gather in service of their snaky overlord. I also really like jungles. This has an awesome Lost World pulp flavor. Send your party of intrepid heroes to discover the Temple of the Serpent God or something awesome like that. Obviously, this is great for the reptilians. You'll find plenty of giant snakes and dinos hanging around lost temples in forbidden jungles. Finally, if you want something really intrigue-heavy, consider unleashing your Lamia Matriarch in an urban setting. Players could get very paranoid, seeking the monster lurking among them. And your Lamia may have acquired humanoid minions of any type. Guilds of thieves and assassins. Cultists operating out of underground lairs, or this charming seducer may have the guards, knights, and nobles of a city under its sway. Now that you have an idea of how to use Lamia Matriarchs in your campaign, let's talk about how to increase the challenge for more advanced, skilled, or higher level parties. One of the easiest ways is with items. As relatively human-like creatures, a Lamia can fight with weapons and use items. A great one is a wholly aligned weapon, especially if you have some no-goodniks in your party. With their very high use magic device skills, a Lamia could wield a holy weapon without incurring the negative level penalty for using such. Another great option are staffs. A powerful magical staff can really change the battle. A staff of fire for a powerful offensive Lamia. A staff of healing would be great for a Lamia with some tough bodyguards and pets to support. A staff of dark flame if you're interested in some necromantic flavor for your Lamia. Or if you want something that's just really, really horrible, you could give your Lamia a staff of hungry shadows and give it command over very powerful undead, like shadows and even a devourer. Heck, why not give it the always fun Eye of the Void for a Lovecraftian Lamia? Now, if you don't want to reward your players with a powerful magical item, I would recommend giving it scrolls. They can easily make the DC 20 plus caster level check to activate any type of scroll you give them. I would recommend powerful game-changing spells like Black Tentacles, Wall of Fire, Gaseous Form, Hungry Pit, or any of the power word spells like Stun, Blind, or Kill. Finally, if all else fails, don't forget about templates, such as Fiendish. This is a very simple template that gives some great results, such as DR, Bypassed by Good, and Smite Good. This gives the base Lamia a +5 to hit and +12 to damage rolls against good creatures. And it's a fun way to give that paladin a dose of his own medicine. Now, if you want something really impressive, I would recommend the Vampire template. The Lamia will get a +6 to natural armor and DR10, bypassed by magic. Your Vampire Lamia will use its Charisma score, which will get buffed, when calculating bonus HP. And there are also the suite of powerful vampire abilities like Blood Drain, Dominate, for even more minions, Create Spawn, and the ability to just summon rats, bats, and wolves. Finally, a very cool template for your Lamia Matriarch is the Mummy Lord. Consider unleashing one of these on any hapless fools that have gone breaking into tombs they really shouldn't. A Mummy Lamia will get a scaling natural armor bonus based on its HD and DR10, bypassed by nothing. That does not bypass all DR. It gets a paralyzing aura of despair, an ability called Undead Master that allows it to take control of other undead, so you can command the living and the dead equally. Finally, an ability called Rejuvenation. This allows your Mummy Lamia to rise again 1d10 days later in its tomb, even if it's destroyed. Thank you very much for watching this DM guide to Lamia in Pathfinder 1E. If you're looking for gaming supplies, such as dice and books, check out Noble Knight Games. They have everything you need for your next game night. You'll find a link in the description. And if you're interested in a good old-fashioned haunted house adventure, check out Sorceress, the Dietrich House, an adventure for 4 level 3 characters. Thank you very much for watching D6 Damage. Now, if you're interested in more strategy guides, character builds, and more for Pathfinder 1E, check out D6 Damage on YouTube or BitChute.